Hello and welcome back here. We're continuing our long and hard look here at how we get in our own way and what we can do about it. Mm, yes, let's spend some time on this idea here today that what we appear to see, what we appear to experience here in the world as we believe that we're one of these devices right here, it's not a reality. It's a dream, but we want it to be our reality. So we invest our entire being in it. Oh, yeah. It's not something that we commonly think about when we're in the midst of washing the dishes and checking email and then going to the bathroom and fixing ourselves something to eat, going to work, driving the car, putting gas in the car, or charging it if you have an electric car, making sure we do that so the car stays running and we got to clock in on time at the office, and then we come home and rinse, repeat. That we don't often think about these deep level things, but it's so critically important that we do. We get in our own way constantly, and we want to see what isn't real. And the message for all of us today is we cannot make the unreal real. We cannot make the unreal, all of this, real. We cannot make the unreal real. Sounds like a mantra. All right. Well, grab your mala beads if you have them. Grab your rosary if you have them. And if this helps you, click. I cannot make the unreal real. Click. I cannot make the unreal real. It's really important because when you think about it, that sounds like a very simplistic statement. Gee, guess what? Most of these statements are. I mean, really, truth is extremely simple. We add all of the layers of complication. And it is our refusal to accept truth just as it is that has us suffering, quite simply. And we all deep down know that we could choose to accept truth just as it is, which is what we're invited to do. We can't make the unreal real. And getting in our own way is attempting to do just that and carting ourselves off on one drama after another. Seriously, one dramatic, ephemeral event after another. Each and every one of them, nothing. Nothing. The only thing here in this world that can even be said to be real are our loving thoughts, our wholly and completely loving thoughts. Just that. All else is complete illusion. And we expend our lifetimes on complete illusion. Now, it makes sense that given the gravity of that statement, given the truth of that statement, that we would want to avoid that statement, that we're much ado about absolutely nothing. Nothing. I mean, why would we want to believe that when we've got a to-do list with 27 things on it that we need to accomplish before 12 o'clock today or else? So it's very, very important that we continue to do what you're doing right now. It's very important. That's taking a few minutes out of your busy schedule to contemplate truth, and to accept it just as it is. That's why these videos continue to appear, so that we may accept truth just as it is, so that you may communicate with your inner teacher and get in touch with your inner teacher and allow your inner teacher to run the show. What will happen is you will, if you do it, and only you will know if you really are doing it, yes, if you really do it, you'll begin to notice that you're experiencing things differently. A situation that used to make you really angry, for example, or a person that used to drive you insane with annoyance and judgment that you wanted to get away from. After some time, however long that time span is, of true forgiveness and spiritual practice, and doing as your inner teacher instructs you to do, you begin to recognize that, hey, this person doesn't bother me anymore. They still say the same things, and they still have the same haughty air about them that has annoyed me so much in the past, but yeah, it's nothing. Exactly. It's nothing. That's just an example of what you may see when you honestly allow your inner teacher to run the show, tell you what to say and do in every circumstance. It is not as scary as it sounds. And if it sounds scary, yeah, I get that. We're used to having to control and manipulate everything ourselves. We think we have to. We don't have to. We tell ourselves we have to, or we'll get swallowed by the tide of excess activity and frustration and psychodrama that we continue to identify with unnecessarily. But we won't get swallowed in that. Not at all. That tide that we fear so much is nothing. It's a dream. It is like a passing cloud, and it's not the Son of God, nor is this thing the Son of God. The Son of God is not finite. The Son of God is not limited to these highly artificial concepts that we've made up called space and time, which, when you really think about it, are separation devices. We appear to be separate from our brothers in this thing called space. You may be on another continent. I'm in North America. You may be in Europe or Asia or someplace else. We appear to be separated by space. We also appear to be separated by time, even if you're watching this right now in what we've labeled 2023 in this thing that we've invented called the Gregorian calendar. We could have based this thing called a calendar on any other event, right? We appear to be separated in time. Even right now, we've parsed this spinning ball of rock into 24 little slivers that we made up called time zones, which we made up, completely made up. You have nothing wrong with that. It's just an illusion. No big deal, right? We appear to be separate from loved ones who have gone before us and have perhaps passed on, and people that haven't been born yet, and things like that. I'm just pointing out that it's all a dream. And when we're enmeshed in it, we certainly don't see it as a dream. Hence the value in this repetition. I mean, really, hence the value in continuing to come back and hear this message from your inner teacher again. And again, because we don't really know, actually, do we? We don't know, because it might be the 800th time that we hear the exact same thing that sounds so simple we couldn't possibly believe it. And we run off, then we hear it again, and we bring ourselves back. Why? Your inner teacher knows why. Bring yourself back, and we hear it again and again. It could be that 800th time where something actually really deeply connects for you. That the proverbial light goes on and it gets, boom, switched on, and you begin to get it. And it inspires you to give as you have received. Today, I learned to give as I receive, a very important lesson in the workbook. We receive the love of God, and we give it, we extend it just as it is. This might be the day that inspires you to practice. So again, it's very important that you're here. It really is. When we run off and we think that we're an ego, and we think that everybody else is an ego, and we're all in this mortal competition with each other, which our economic systems are predicated on, and worship. Take it for granted that there's competition out there, that you're going to get crushed. Yeah. When we attempt to make the unreal real, what does it induce but panic? It induces feelings of anxiety. Of course it does. We think our brother's out to get us, so we have to take a defensive posture or a preemptive strike posture. So we spend all of our time fretting about something that may never come. The future's not here. That's an illusion, just as the past. It's not here. But we spend all our time in these places preparing ourselves for an attack that may never come, or preparing to launch our own attack and then launching our own preemptive strike because we know our brother's out to get us. These thoughts induce anxiety. That's an example. They can induce utter panic if they become more severe and persistent. Panic. We can freak ourselves out and completely disorient ourselves. And mentally, we can absolutely cease to function because of fear. Panic and fear comes from attempting to make all of this real. It is not real. We can attempt, of course, to convince ourselves that it is. And that's what we do. And that's why we struggle. So whatever form this struggle appears to take, that's why. It's our attempt to make real what is not real. And it is dogged, isn't it? And persistent. And it's getting in our own way. Why is it getting in our own way? Because deep down, each and every one of us wants one thing, and one thing only, because there is nothing else. The peace of God. That's what we all deep down want. That's why you're on the spiritual path. That's why you're interested in this video. I mean, we all know that there's a lot of other content out there on YouTube alone, much less other social media channels. But here you are. It's a very good reason why. It's because deep down you want the peace of God, and you have acknowledged this. Whether you did it consciously or not actually makes no difference. So when we run amok here in the world and manage to convince ourselves that this 80% water thing that we call the physical body is the Son of God, it's us, it's our reality. When we manage to convince ourselves of that, what we're doing is we're not allowing ourselves to experience what we really want. We're asking for what we don't actually want, suffering. And we can't actually get what we don't want because it was never created. It is illusion. So the question then becomes for us as we appear to be here, how long do we want to sit and spin? I mean, really, if you haven't asked yourself that lately, I invite you to do that today. It's very important. So, accepting reality is accepting that only God's will is. It's all that is, and it's all that will ever be the will of God. Who's God's will? You are. I mean, me too. All of us. You are the will of God. You are the will of God. Take out your mala or rosary beads and say, I am the will of God. I am the will of God. I am the will of God. If you want to. It's worth repeating. That's the point here. It's worth repeating over and over again until it hits home. You are the will of God. There is nothing else. So, what is spiritual practice? What is learning this course? But allowing truth to be just as it is, and not the way that we've made it, because that's not working. We might have some beautiful moments. Sure, there might be a great vacation that we go on, and there might be a night or a weekend or a couple of years of hot sex. I don't know. There might be a beautiful house or a year or a quarter where fiscally we did really well or something, but nothing in this world lasts. Why? There is no world. The essential teaching of this course. So let's elaborate on that a little bit. It's pretty simple, but the ego will not accept that. Expect resistance. If you're resisting the fact that there is no world, great, no problem. I mean, it goes with the territory when you're learning this course because it cuts right to the chase. And here's a point that we've made in recent videos that's worth bringing ourselves back to just for a moment here, is that we here in the world want people to get to the point, don't we? I mean, think of how we respond to one another and react, and all of the shortness that exists in the business and career world when we want somebody to cut right to the chase. We want them to get to the point. What's the bottom line? Tell me now. And we become incredibly impatient and even rude, hostile, because we want someone to get to the point. So what do we then do? We avoid getting to the point, and we waste our energy attempting to deny truth, which is impossible. We run around, and you could run around this entire lifetime if you so choose, attempting to have and do the impossible, the non-existent. Wouldn't it be more fun? Wouldn't it be happier and more joyful to let truth be just as it is? I mean, the answer to that should be yes, shouldn't it? And if the answer is not yet, so be it. That's not a problem. We all have the present moment to choose God or the ego, to choose truth or illusion, love or fear, however you wish to characterize that. And we see people that are choosing illusion all the time. When you look hard enough, sometimes it doesn't take long, it doesn't take much. You can see that they're anxious, afraid, upset, miserable, chaotic. They wear the cultural badge of honor of overwhelmed, unnecessary, all of it, all of it. So this course cuts right to the chase. Only God is. All else is illusion. God is not separate from you. Again, put this on your mala or rosary beads and click it around like a mantra. God is. Only God is. Ideas leave not their source, and I am the thought of God. Ideas leave not their source, and I am the thought of God. Click. Again, ideas leave not their source, and I am the thought of God. I am God's will. None of this drama is even necessary. All right. So, in practice, we continue to go about life and we continue to do life, as we say. I mean, pay the bills, right? I've got a couple that I'm going to pay today. You know, go to work, pay the light bill, pay the rent or the mortgage. And we appear to continue to be here doing life, as we say, here in the world. Only we don't have to believe that it's real, because it's not real. If it would help you to have an anchor, understand that there are people out there that will respond best to you when you share the Holy Spirit with them. It doesn't have to be in the way that I'm doing it with you. This is my particular directive. Turn on the microphone, which sits right here, camera sits right there, and broadcast to a worldwide audience. What this looks like for you in your life could be very different from that. But again, it's our inner teacher that guides us. So the relationship with your inner teacher is of paramount importance here, because he'll tell you what to do. He'll tell you how to reach these people. And we don't have to believe that any of this is real, because this is not real. It is not eternal. It's not real. None of this is. It's complete illusion. But what is happening is this image that you see on your screen looks like a middle-aged dude. It's an image that people can relate to without being plunged into an existential crisis. In other words, it's an image that people can relate to without fear. So what do? I share the Holy Spirit with all of you. And that's what you do with everyone else, because there are people that are going to hear it best, they're going to get it best from you, not from me or from anyone else. So to the extent that you need an anchor, knowing that all of this is illusion, it's imperative that you continue to show up and extend love to the Son of God. That's how we keep it in our mind, and that's how we wake up, is by sharing our inner teacher, sharing the love of God. There are people out there that need you to do just that, and you may not have met them yet. All right. So I thank you, as always, for tuning in and for joining me. There are several videos that appear each week here. So if you have not subscribed, please do so. We'd love to have you. This is the subscription arrow here in the corner of your screen. Yep, go ahead and click on that and join us. And if you have comments or questions, I invite those too. Please feel welcome to leave them here, and I will see you all again very soon. Thank you for joining me.